All right, so now we're going to look at the parts of the nephron. So let's start with the renal capsule. Excuse me, the renal corpuscle. All right, so the renal corpuscle is the glomerulus plus Bowman's capsule. So if we start with our little Bowman's capsule, all right, so there's Bowman's capsule. This is the proximal convoluted tubule there. And then here we have the glomerulus. All right, so here's my little knot. This is my capillary bed. Okay, so here's the glomerulus. So those two things together make up the renal corpuscle. Okay. The capsule has two layers to it. So there's a layer on the outside that we call the parietal layer. So that's here. And it is made of simple squamous epithelia. Okay. So that means that all the cells out here are flat squamous cells that surrounds the capsule. That's the walls of the capsule. Okay. The inside, of course, would be called the visceral layer. Okay. The visceral layer is made up of a special type of cells, and it is made up of podocytes. So that means basically that all these little capillaries in here are surrounded by these things called podocytes. And these podocytes are like little, they're cells. Again, they're wrapped around and they have little like arms on them. So if they look kind of like that. And then here's the cell body of it. And then they kind of interdigitate because they wrap around the capillaries and then they kind of interdigitate with each other. So like here would be another cell. There. Okay. So they are wrapped around these capillaries, and remember that the capillaries in the glomerulus are fenestrated. So they're pretty holy. So these podocytes help support those fenestrated capillaries and make sure that basically everything gets filtered out except the things we need, except, well, not really the things we need, but the things that are too big. So proteins and blood cells. So it makes sure those things don't hopefully get through. All right, there are a couple other things about the area of the renal corpuscle that are noteworthy here. All right, first of all, the tubes. Okay, we know that the loop, ascending loop of Henle is coming up here, and it turns into, or it becomes, the distal convoluted tubule. So the distal convoluted tubule runs right around these arterioles, the afferent arteriole and the efferent arteriole. This is the efferent arteriole, and this is the afferent arteriole here. And in the distal convoluted tubule are some special cells. And these cells that line the distal convoluted tubule here are called macula densa cells. All right. In the arterioles, there are some specialized cells in here. And these cells are called juxtaglomerular cells. So, juxtaglomerular cells. They are also called granular cells. So those are AKAs. The macula densa cells plus the juxtaglomerular cells create something called the juxtaglomerular apparatus. So the juxtaglomerular apparatus are the macula densa cells plus the juxtaglomerular cells. That makes up that apparatus. Okay. So that is the structure of the renal corpuscle. Okay. Remember, the renal corpuscle is the glomerulus and the Bowman's capsule together. All right, so I'm going to explain a couple things about the mechanisms that occur or that are used throughout the nephron to filter the blood. And then we're going to start talking about what happens. So we're going to start at the renal corpuscle, what it does, and then we'll move into the tubules. Okay, so here we go.